Greetings, hello, welcome on in. What's going on? I am Unoptimized Fool, and we have another weekly episode of everything in WoW this week. Now, this week was crazy for news, so we got a lot of content to cover. So this might be a longer one, but that's okay because we have a lot of brand new stuff to talk about. Now, two things before we dive into it. This location. Now, last week someone got it. It was Necro. Good job, Necro, for that. Now, obviously, I think I made it a little bit too easy. So this one right here, this location, no secrets, no hints, right? This location, I'm going to make as hard as possible to see if we have some true WoW players in here. So again, guess this location for a shout out. We'll give you 24 hours. Obviously, if no one's gotten it in 24 hours, I know I went a little bit too hard, and I'll post the location just for your, for you to know. Now, obviously, one last thing before we dive into the news: the Spotters Guild is growing. We are raiding every Saturday. We're doing mythics mostly every night. The Discord is popping there, so definitely join in if you love raiding. We have raiding. We've cleared all of normal and done the first boss on heroic. We also do mythic runs, so if you're into mythic runs, definitely join in for that, or just for casual stuff too. We also do a lot of casual stuff, and obviously if you have any ideas for the guild, definitely let us know. We're definitely trying to improve and dive into some new stuff. But yeah, join the Spotters. We would love to have you. But let's get right into the news, guys. Alright guys, the first piece of news I want to talk about is Turbulent Timeways. Now, Turbulent Timeways is coming back for the third time. It's going to be releasing on June 17th and going all the way up until August 5th. Now, 11.1.7 has been announced, by the way, and we have some other, news segments talking about, obviously, the overall patch and also some details of the patch. But yeah, Turbulent Timeways is going to be a time-walking extravaganza, right? So, as you know, with normal time-walking, it comes for a whole week and then disappears for around 2 to 4 weeks, and then it comes back, right? Some random ones. But with turbulent time waves, can't even speak, we have time walking after time walking after time walking. And it even starts with the new BFA time walking, which again is new for 11.1.7. But yeah, Turbulent Time Waves is a good way for you to level your alts, especially with the new XP event going on right now, as well as, by the way, if you complete, I believe it's 3 or 4 of the weeks doing at least 4 dungeons, you will be able to get a mount, kind of like showing that you participate in Turbulent Time Waves, right? Now, it is a time-limited event, obviously, so you only have a certain amount of time to get this mount, but definitely it's a nice little dragon with a little pirate hat, right, to kind of celebrate BFA Time Walking coming in. So definitely enjoy Turbulent Time Waves. It's a lot of cool fun and a great way to level your alts. Alright guys, let's take a small break from retail and talk about the 20th anniversary servers that were released during the 20th anniversary. Now again, they started fresh and we're going through each phase as we speak, and eventually they did announce that we're even going to the Burning Crusade with these servers. Now, the reason I'm talking about this today is because right now, Phase 4, Zul'Gurub, is now live. So now you can, obviously, it's been about almost a week now, right? But you can now go in there again. I know that most of us are here for retail, but again, I want to cover everything about WoW because it's the best game ever, right? It's a pretty cool game. Now, obviously, we have some enjoyers for Classic and 20th Anniversary server enjoyers, so definitely indulge in that. You've probably already been indulging in that, so definitely join in on that, guys. But I wanted to let you know that Phase 4 for the 20th Anniversary servers are now live. Alright, let's go back into retail, and especially 11.1.7. A lot of cool stuff is being added in, and I want to talk about the new ability called Recuperate. Now, this ability is going to be on all classes, every class, every spec, and it's going to be in your general tab. And what you can do is now, when you recuperate, you make a little small campfire, start cooking up, and you can heal some health. And again, this is free. You don't have to buy any materials for this. It's just going to be a base ability for all classes. And again, this is, I mean, if I really think about this, is probably mostly for the casual crowd of leveling through Dragonflight, leveling through any expansion, and having to buy items and buy food is a little bit tedious. It gets them away from the core gameplay. So now with the Recuperate, they can just sit down and eat, join back in the fight relatively quickly. Now again, this is a nice quality of life thing that Blizzard is adding in. And don't worry guys, I see a lot of, cooking profession people like shaking their boots. It does not give you the well-fed buff, which obviously gives you stats during dungeons and raids and mythics. So they still will need your cooking for well-fed buff. It just helps you with your health, okay? Now, obviously, we've seen some little bit of a backlash between this. Obviously, there's some good quality of life things for the casuals, but again, we are in a world of MMO RPG, right? And I feel like this is taking away from some of the core gameplay features of just like participating in NPC trades and kind of diving around the world. Sometimes when you go towards a vendor to buy something, you find a cool side quest or find a cool location. Now you can just recuperate anywhere you want. So again, it takes away from the world, but it does help with quality of life. So I'm on the fence about it myself, but I just wanted to report the news to you that coming here in 11.1.7, you won't have to really find much food here soon. All right, guys, let's take a small trip down memory lane. Now, obviously, in the 20th anniversary celebration, we had Tier 2 remastered, right? Obviously, from Tier 2, from back in the day during Vanilla, they were remastered for all classes, especially the classes that were not even there at the time, like Monk, Death Knight, Demon Hunter, right? Evoker, right? But now, in 11.1.7, during the Greedy Emissary event, which I'll talk about later, we'll now have access to Tier 2 recolors. Now, again, it's going to be the same model as we know from both the original game and from the 20th anniversary, but these colors are just going to be different. It's just going to give some more variety to the Tier 2. Again, it's not adding in new armor, it's just adding in some new colors. Again, some more content for us to grind out and some more reason to grind out that Greedy Emissary event, which again, I'll talk about later. But I think this is a really good addition. I mean, obviously, it's just recolors. They look fantastic, if you ask me. And just enjoy them, obviously. We don't know how to fully unlock them, right? Obviously, the PTR for 11.1.7 is up right now. But again, when I report on this news, sometimes by the time this video comes out, it's already invalidated and this needs to be updates, but that's part of the reason why I like to put out weekly updates and also daily updates on my channel, so definitely keep an eye on that. But again, news change pretty fast. But yeah, new recolors, and I'm definitely looking forward to hopefully collecting all of these. Alright guys, the next piece of news has to do with legacy content, but I want to give some more context on this Greedy Emissary event that's occurring. Now obviously the first time we saw this Greedy Emissary was when Diablo 4 was launching. They did a little bit of promotional event inside of World of Warcraft, where you can get some mounts, some toys, and some pets, right? It's coming back obviously now in a little bit more remastered feel. And with this event coming out, we also have this new buff for legacy content. Now, obviously, as of right now, we can go back into legacy content, which, by the way, legacy content is from Vanilla all the way up to Shadowlands. So Dragonflight and War Within is considered to be not legacy, by the way. It's current. That's still current content, right? The new leveling experience for new players is Dragonflight, and obviously War Within is the current expansion, right? So anything past behind Dragonflight is considered to be legacy content. So with this buff, it actually increases your legacy drops, right? So right now we go into this legacy content, the farm mounts, titles, reputation, items, whatever it may be, and there's a percentage chance of it dropping. Now some of this stuff is pretty rare. Now with this buff, which is dropping during the Greedy Emissary timeline, is going to give us increased drop rates for this stuff. Now, obviously, we don't know the percentage. We don't know if it's just for mounts, if it's for just pets, if it's for titles. We don't really know, right? We do know that it's coming out, and hopefully we find out some more details later. But again, this is going to be good for people who enjoy legacy content, but have been stuck trying to collect a mount that has like a 0.001% drop rate for the last 7 years, right? So hopefully that gives you a buff. I don't know if it's just a multiplier, but it's going to be good for, again, with the new housing system coming in tied with legacy content, this might be a good time to dive into some of that legacy content, guys. Alright guys, this next piece of news has to do with the new delve system. Now, as you guys know, delves were introduced in the War Within, so a relatively new system, but it looks like in 11.1.7, we are getting a new phase of delves called Overcharged Delves. Now, they're a little bit different, obviously a lot harder than the delves we have currently, and only in select delves. But it looks like we can go in there and have a greater challenge, but there's something even tied to this that has people a little bit worried, right? So obviously, borrowed power in World of Warcraft has never really gone well. And to be fair, in 11.0.5, we did have borrowed power, the Circe's Ring, which is still best in slot for my character, probably for yours as well. Now, in 11.1.7, with these delves, we're getting a new belt, a new legendary belt that can be upgraded, right? Now, it starts at about 678 and can be upgraded all the way up to 690. 694, right? So it's a big boy, right? It's a big ticket item. Now, again, we don't know if we can use this belt outside of Delves, so it might be best in slot for certain characters. It might not be, who knows? But I'm thinking it might be. Again, we don't know if it's outside of Delves or if it's just for the Delves, but you can upgrade this belt every week, just like we did with the finger inside of Siren Isle. And there's actually, in the Overcharged Delve, you get some sort of currency, which you can then, at the beginning of each delve, you can dive into this console where you can upgrade some stuff to make it easier for you to dive through these delves. Again, they're going to be a lot harder than the 11 Bountiful that we're currently diving in. So this is probably going to be another borrowed power system. This might be, if we can use this belt outside of the content for Delves, we're probably going to see this be best in slot for most. Usually that's how it goes. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this again. You know, borrowed power has some bad history for World of Warcraft, but I mean, we were okay with the Circe's Ring. I'm kind of been iffy about it. Again, it's still best in slot for most. Again, Arms Warrior main here is still on me right now. So again, as this evolves, I'll definitely let you guys know. But for right now, it can go up to 694, which is pretty crazy. Again, that's going to probably definitely compete, probably even be having it for 11.2 for Season 3 for Mythics and stuff like that. So definitely keep an eye on it. But yeah, another way to dive into Delves, and hopefully it's going to be a lot of fun. Alright guys, I have some more news about 11.1.7. We're getting a new system called Lorewalking, right? So again, this is another brand new system added in. Now, we all know Lorewalking, right? We're introduced during Mists of Pandaria, tells us about the history of the world, and even, again, last time we saw him was in the 20th anniversary, giving out some beautiful renditions of stories. Now, this new system is going to have you go through some older content, reliving the past for 3 main events. 1, meeting the Ethereals, getting to know them, you know, figuring out how Xal'atath became who Xal'atath is, and also 2, about the Lich King. Now, why are we doing this? Is this some fun activity? Obviously, it's good to learn about the past of World of Warcraft, and also to refresh your memory, right? Now, some people, by the way, there was a big influx of players in Dragonflight, and also the War Within is, for some people, their first expansion they played in World of Warcraft, right? So they don't know anything about Xal'atath, they don't know anything about the Ethereals, they don't know anything about the Lich King. So this is a good way for casuals and for people who don't know the story too much about World of Warcraft to dive into the main story beats of War Within, to get some context for what's going on, right? And again, maybe there will be even some small breadcrumbs for people to dive into. So obviously you can find Lorewalking in Dor Nalgal, as well as level 10 up till level 80 can participate in these events. So it's, again, a good little lore dump here. Again, hopefully there's some new breadcrumbs for us to tackle, and I'm definitely looking forward to it, because the more you know about the story, the more invested you are in this game. Alright guys, now I've kind of mentioned this already during Turbulent Timeways, but I want to talk about BFA Timewalking. Now this is a whole new timewalking system added in. Now it uses the old system obviously, but we've never had BFA Timewalking up to this point, right? So now you can experience BFA dungeons, right? During time walking, and with Turbulent Timeways, right, we will now be able to experience BFA right at the beginning. So the first week of Turbulent Timeways, BFA will be the time walking that's occurring. Again, with the new time walking dungeons, we'll have a new vendor that gives out different mounts, different titles, all new stuff that we can farm out. So definitely, if you're sitting on a lot of those time walking currency badges there, you're definitely going to be spending on this new vendor here. So we're going to have mounts, going to have pets, going to have all different things. So again, short little article here, but BFA is finally added into the time walking ecosystems, and guess what, guys? You know what's next? Shadowlands time walking eventually, right? Obviously, we'll probably have to wait maybe 3 to 4 years, but eventually it's going to happen, guys. Sorry to say. Alright guys, I've been yapping a lot about 11.1.7, but I want to officially tell you the official name of the patch. It's called the Legacy of Erythor. Now, if you are prone with the lore knowledge of this game, Erythor is a prominent figure in Arathi history. Now again, there's too much to talk about the history. Again, that was like 3,000 years ago in the game universe to talk about that. So again, that's a whole nother video, but what's cool about this, again, we talked about a lot of stuff that's coming out in this I almost said expansion, there's a lot of content, but this patch, but obviously it's called Legacy of Erythor, and what's cool about this, the main campaign is actually taking us back to Arathi Highlands, right? Now, Arathi Highlands has been in the spotlight for a long time recently. We've had the Plunder Storm taking place there, as well as BFA. We just saw a nice revamp of the area. Now we're going back and diving into a more Rathai lore, which I love. Again, going back to older locations on Azeroth is the way to go. I love new zones, don't get me wrong, for the major patches. But for the small patches, take me back. Take me back to any other zone other than a new zone, right? I love that type of stuff, right? For major patches, give me a new zone, sure. But for small patches, bring me back to Arathi. I love that, right? There'll be more context there. The story will advance. Again, some of these zones in World of Warcraft are stuck in time, and I want to see more and more. Again, we live in an evolving world, but it doesn't feel like it, right? So I hope that we're slowly doing these small patches. Again, even going crazier where even just weekly updates of zones will happen, right? Again, that's a pipe dream. That's me kind of coping here. But yeah, Legacy of Arathor, diving into more Arathi lore, going back to the Arathi Highlands. I don't know the story. It's on the PTR now. Spoiler alert, obviously. But enjoy, and I cannot wait for this patch to drop. Alright guys, wiki yap about the Renown system in the raid. Now again, a little bit of a summary here. Again, Renown is now in the raid. You have to kill the final bosses and the lieutenants in the raid to get reputation. So now we're on rank 10. Obviously, as this video is out, rank 11's out, but rank 10 is a super important one. It is the 9% buff. It gives you a 3% more damage done and 3% more healing done inside the raid. Now, we recently actually just saw a pushback and also resetting everyone back to rank 9 previously because of a bug that was found and making people go all the way up to the max rank, which was not okay. So they reset also. So obviously all those quests that you have to do, you had to redo, by the way. You probably already noticed this, but definitely check out, make sure you do all the quests. But now you're up to 9% damage increase as well as the healing increase too. So again, if you're stuck on a boss, 3% more damage on all players is going to help a lot with pushing past that maybe DPS check or maybe a phase that you're just kind of stuck on. So again, it adds up over time. Now, so let's say for example you're far behind, there is a catch-up mechanic. You can go into LFR, into normal, heroic, or mythic and get the same amount of experience as other people too. So if you're far behind, definitely start grinding away. Do LFR. It's still a bit harder for DPS because the queues are longer, but just do that real quick. It's a lot of fun. Wipes occur every once in a while in LFR, but thankfully as time goes on, wipes do decrease over time, which is awesome. But yeah, do this one. This one's a super important one because again, 3% more damage done and 3% healing done. That's a big thing to get you over the hump, and especially since the spotters are now officially diving into heroic on a semi-consistent basis, that's going to really help pushing that content even further. Alright guys, it's officially May, and you guess what? The trading post is now live, obviously with new items for May, new Traveler's Log, rewards, stuff like that. Now, obviously, I don't want to go into details, everything inside of the May trading post, but I do want to talk about something that's brand new to the game, and it's the first ever customizable pet in World of Warcraft history. So this pet you'll be able to get, it's a nice little puppy, right? Very cute puppy. And what's cool about this is you can now give that puppy different clothes. So there's, I believe, around 4 or 5 different clothes options for this puppy that you can customize. So this is the first customizable pet in World of Warcraft history, which is pretty impressive. Again, it's not too crazy utility-wise. It's just a dog that you can put different clothes on. But it kind of opens up the avenue of like different customizations for items, for pets, for anything like that, right? I mean, we're getting housing soon, which will be crazy. It'll be cool if we can have our pets sit in our house, by the way, Blizzard. We don't have confirmation on that, by the way. That's speculation, by the way. But it would be cool to have a pet just chilling in there, you know, inside of your house. But anyway, this pet can have different pieces of clothing on, and it's just cool, right? Whatever you want to wear. It could be daily, could be weekly update, or you can just slap on your favorite article of clothing and forget about them, right? Obviously, you don't have to feed them, which is cool. But yeah, just pretty cool thing to notice. Obviously, we now have the May trading post up. Definitely dive into your activities and get your cool things. There's a new hedgehog mount, which is pretty cool looking. But yeah, just want to let you know that we've officially made history with this new pet. Alright guys, the last news about 11.1.7 was revealed. This is actually one of the first things revealed during the WoWcast talking about 11.1.7. This was with Ian Drathos, I believe that's how you say his name, as well as Max from Liquid. Now, The first thing they introduced was a rotation helper for players. Now, right now there's a popular add-on called Hikili that shows you what you should be pressing next to have, semi-optimal DPS. Now in the base game, what's cool is you can toggle this on again, just like the cooldown manager. You have to turn it on. It's not enabled by default. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to see your abilities light up, and that's the one that you hit next. It's going to kind of help you with rotation. Again, it's not going to be do this and you're going to be the best player ever, but it's going to help you kind of learn your class more and definitely increase your DPS if you're struggling, right? They also are introducing a one button rotation in the game, right? So this one button, you just type the one button, again, it's just one button, and it goes through all your abilities in a more optimal fashion. Again, there is a penalty for using this. Again, it's not going to give you the best DPS, but it's definitely going to help you improve, and also it's accessible, right? For people with limited movement and with disabilities, this is going to be perfect for the gamers like that and open up the avenue for those players, as well as eventually we're probably going to see this game on console, right? We're already seeing a lot of core add-ons being added into the game itself. The cooldown manager, now we have the rotation helper, as well as the one button rotation, right? Again, this is all setting up for consoles. Do you think Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard is not going to port over the most popular MMO to their consoles? And by the way, guys, the consoles right now for Xbox are at a 6% dive, right? So, of course, they're going to try to sell more consoles with World of Warcraft. I mean, imagine playing WoW on the console. I mean, we already have the Stream Deck, right? That would be pretty cool. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know. Again, there's some people that don't like this, but guess what? It's optional, thankfully. So it's not enabled by default, right? So you don't even need to use it. But for people who are playing an alt they don't really care about, or just trying to learn their class a little bit more, these are definitely the tools to use. Whew, all right, we finally made it to the last article of the day. Again, a lot of content to dive into this week, so again, longer video. But again, we talk about events mostly from the past because, again, when this video gets released, this event's going to be gone. But Children's Week just passed, and again, we saw new cosmetics, new orphans, unfortunately, which is pretty sad to think about. If we have new orphans, that means one thing, right? And new content for Children's Week. Now, again, why do I bring this up? Obviously, make sure you're very, very much aware and situational about these events coming out, because Blizzard recently, since Dragonflight, have been updating them every year, giving us new items, new pets, mounts, whatever it may be, for us to gather, right? And again, new quests as well. So they're just kind of, doing what I wanted them to do since forever, where they just update slowly over time, right? Every event you can, obviously for people who are done with the event and can grind out that small amount of stuff that they add every year, or for the people who are new to it, can grind out everything, which is pretty nice. And again, I just like to mention this because I think it's good for you to keep an eye on all these items too. Again, it's not available right now, but definitely worth to check out next year. All right, guys, that's it for all the news. Again, I appreciate you guys watching this. It was a long one. It was mostly dominated by 11.1.7 news. But again, I love doing this type of content. I am an optimized fool. Again, if you enjoy World of Warcraft and love this weekly episode and want more content, on my personal X channel, I do have daily videos. There's a couple days that I sometimes miss because sometimes news doesn't flow that well. I cover videos daily of diving into some topics, as well as some of the topics in here I dive into a little bit more detail because I have the time, right? So again, if you want daily updates, definitely check out my channel. I love World of Warcraft. It's one of my favorite games. I make a lot of content for it. Now again, I am still at this location, a little bit different angle to help a bit. Again, this one's going to be extremely hard because again, I want to make you guys sweat. Now again, I'm an Optimized Fool. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week.